5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All systems go with Josh Appelbaum starts now.
Hello and welcome to episode 411 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. I am your host, Josh Appelbaum. What's going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday. Another day here in the arena, guys, as we are full in the midst of the holiday season here. And we got a lot to get to on today's podcast as we power through the early portion of our week. And it's going to be all basketball, guys. All hoops, because I got a 5-pack of sweats for you. Excited to break down for today's pod 3 college basketball games, some short money line favorites, and one dog that's had a really good sharp line move in their favor, and they all happen to be added extra games. So why do I mention that? Because they may not be the sexiest games of the night, might not be the most heavily bet, but if you're seeing line moves in a low bet obscure game, that tells me that it's almost purely sharp, respected, money driven, because the public can't even find these games on their app. But of course, pros don't care if it's a big game, small game, because you can cash a ticket on, Kennesaw State just as you would Alabama. They'll pay out the same exact money for each of them. So 3 plays in college, and then 2 NBA player props. I'm looking at both games tonight, so it's actually an early game. This one will be an early play, 6 p.m. Eastern time, the Heat and the Magic, and then a 8:30 game, the Knicks and the Raptors. Again, only 2 games, but I got one guy from each game, hopefully to go over 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So let's get some over PRAs, which we've had some success with, thinking back to, Cooper Flagg and Jeremiah Fears last week. So a 5-pack overall, all hoops. You guys know the drill. Let's try to get 3 out of 5, go 3-2, eke out a winning night. That is the goal. Now, looking back to our last night, guys, what a sweat with the LA Chargers. Man, did the Chargers come up big for the team. Thought they were going to blow it there late, but Chargers found a way to, and they were really kind of, in control the whole game. And then big, touchdown run there by Saquon Barkley. Phillies up, 19-16. And then Chargers kicked a field goal. Dicker, the kicker, who was great, came through and then won it in overtime. When Philly was driving, they score a touchdown. We lose our 2.5. But hey, they're able to get a big stop there. Hurts turned it over a bunch, which was fine by us. So the Chargers were a fantastic contrarian primetime dog. And also, did you guys see where that line closed? We got plus 2.5. At one point, I'm like, man, I missed the 3, but I better at least take the 2.5. I'm glad we did. It didn't matter because they won the game, but the line closed at Chargers plus 1.5 or even plus 1. So as I'm looking at this line move going further to the Chargers right before kickoff, I got pretty excited there saying, hey, we're on the sharp side. So it was nice to get some CLV and then have that winner there with the Chargers. So 1-0 plus 0.88 unit night. I want to mention 2 other things real quick. One, did you guys notice the Army-Navy total? Because Army-Navy, we talked about yesterday getting under 39.5. I know it's a low number, generally speaking, but for an Army-Navy game, when they run it pretty much every single down, felt like that would be the high water mark. Well, did you guys see the total today? It's now down to 38.5. Some books 38, some books 37.5. So I'm glad we were able to put that one in. Hopefully you did too. But some good CLV there for Army-Navy. Let's see if we can get an under on Saturday. And then real quick, just want to say thank you to all you guys listening, because I don't know if you guys are Spotify people or iTunes people, but I run my podcast through Spotify, and then I have my feed that sends it everywhere else, iTunes, iHeartRadio, YouTube, all the other platforms. So no matter what platform you're listening on, thank you. But I got my Spotify Wrapped for the All Systems Go pod, basically compiled a lot of stats, numbers in terms of how the podcast performed this year. And I just want to thank you guys, because I found out that I tweeted this out from the All Systems Go account. If you ever want to follow, it's at _ASG_podcast. But in the year 2025, which is almost ending here, we had 47.2 thousand total podcasts listened to. The follower count went up 60% this year, and it was a total of 7.7 thousand listening hours from you guys. Also ranked as a 2025 marathon show, talked about show, and most shared show. So thank you for that. And then this was interesting too. The top countries: 1, of course, United States; 2, Canada; 3, Mexico; 4, Australia; and 5, Poland. So I could have, thought U.S., Canada, Mexico, but Australia and Poland. Shout out to my Australians, my Polish friends out there, sports bettors. thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. But yeah, just seeing the growth year over year, it means a lot to me, and it was kind of nice to see it all, put together a nice little portfolio or a pamphlet there that Spotify put together. So thank you for listening. And if you did enjoy the pod this year, I always say it at the end of the podcast, but please give it a 5-star review, Spotify or iTunes. That would mean a lot to me. Now, let's see if we can get a little winning streak going. Had a good Sunday, good day yesterday. Let's make it 3 in a row. So I want to start off with some college basketball because there's about 25 games on the slate here tonight. And I focused on all of these little obscure low bet games here. So anyway, when you look, or just regardless of when you're trying to differentiate a regular game from a obscure game, I look at the Vegas ID number, the rotation number. So, for example, if you're betting Villanova, Michigan, it's a big game. Michigan's favored by 16. That's game 603, 604. So usually you're going to get what's called a 3-digit Vegas ID or rotation or NSS number. When you get a 6-digit number, those are the added extra games. So those are the games that are hard to find, public doesn't care about too much. And those are the games that I like to target because if you see a line move, usually it's going to be driven by smart money because the public doesn't care about these games because they're just not sexy enough. And you can always do the mascot test. Do you know the mascot of this team? If I told you Duke, you'd say Blue Devils instantly. Howard? What's Howard? What state are they in? What's their mascot? Well, the Howard Bison. So let's start there. 7 o'clock Eastern Time, game 306-553, 306-554. McNeese, or actually I'm going to start here. Where is it? All right, Howard versus North Carolina A&T. So tip off at 7, as I mentioned. This is a neutral site matchup, so it's actually going to be played at Cameron Indoor Stadium, home of the Duke Blue Devils. But let's set the stage here. Howard 5-5. Just beat Bowie State 85-69. I couldn't even find a line for that game, so that's why I didn't list it. NCA&T 4-3 on the year. They just held off North Carolina Central 69-54. But what have we seen across the market here? Well, this game opened. Remember, neutral site, Cameron Indoor. I don't know if the Crazies will be there because Duke's not playing. But anyway, opened with North Carolina A&T listed at around a 3.5 or 4-point neutral site favorite. Now, it's pretty clear. Lines move toward Howard. I like Howard in the points here because Howard went from +5, +3.5, now down to +2.5. Some books even got as low as 1.5 or 2 earlier today. Now, I jumped on a bad +2. I thought I was getting a decent number because at the time, a lot of books were getting down to 1.5. Well, now you can get a +2.5 with Howard if you want to play it. But still, open to current, all movement has been toward Howard. Added extra game, obscure sharp line move. But then you look at the splits. They look pretty good on Howard. 37% of spread bets, 52% of spread dollars. At Circa, I really like this one. 67% bets, 95% spread dollars. So again, good evidence there. The wise guys out in Vegas also taking the points with Howard. Notice some advantages here. Stat-wise, Howard, better offensive efficiency, 304th in the country. May not sound great, but NCA&T is 330th. Better three-point shooting, 33% versus 31%. Better free throw shooting, 72% versus 70%. And if you remember, Howard, I believe, made the NCAA tournament last year, won their division. Howard also does a good job turnovers on both sides of the ball. They protect it when they have it. They rank 250th in turnover percentage. Again, doesn't sound great, but NCAA&T ranks 328th. And then forcing turnovers. They do a pretty good job of picking the pocket of the other team. They are forcing turnovers 19th most in college basketball. That's pretty good. 221st on the other hand there for North Carolina A&T. So Ken Pom does have this as a 3-point game for NCA&T, but with the line moving toward Howard, with a lot of stat advantages, with good bet splits, I think Rhythm has this closer to a 2.1 point game. Again, I got a bad +2. I played it a little early. I thought it would keep falling, but there was some buyback there in NCA&T, so if you want to play it now, you can get NCA&T now at +2.5, and I believe you can even get a +3 at Caesars. What I do like, though, if you're worried about this line going back toward NCA&T, is that there's a really good sharp mush edge. There's a 60% sharp mush edge on Howard, and that's actually money line to win the game. So we just need them to basically win the game or lose by, I guess for me, lose by 1. You'll lose by 2. I push, but again, hope you guys can now get a 2.5 or 3. Let's just win the game, Bison. Wouldn't that be nice? But I am on Howard. Again, I got a bad +2. You can get 2.5 or 3. Next one for you. Let's look at McNeese State and Rhode Island. Another one here that is a low bet added obscure game, 7 o'clock tonight, game 306, 557, 306, 558. McNeese State comes in 7-2, just crushed Northwestern State 92-54, easily covered as a 19.5-point home favorite. Meanwhile, Rhode Island 7-3 on the year. They just had their 3-game win streak come to an end. They lost to Providence 90-71, didn't cover as a 7.5-point road dog. So what have we seen across the market here? Well, this game opened McNeese State, very short 1.5-point road favorite. And if you look at the open to current, it's still showing McNeese State minus 1.5. But if you pull up the line history, which you can just tap any box showing any odds on Odds Logic, it'll show you that McNeese State actually got as high as minus 2.5, and I believe one shop even might have touched minus 3 earlier today before it came back down to 1.5. So it looks like it hasn't moved, but all movement and liability in between has been in favor of McNeese State. That tells me McNeese State is the sharper side here. I like the splits on McNeese State. 56% of spread bets, 74% of spread dollars at DK. So good split in their favor. Now KenPom has McNeese winning by 1 point, 72-71. So in that regard, I'm not going to lay a 1.5. I moneylined McNeese State. You can get them around minus 125 at Caesars right now. But you also have a bunch of advantages for McNeese State. Better offensive efficiency, 95th versus 120th for Rhode Island. Better defensive efficiency, 65th in the country versus 93rd for URI. Better free throw shooting, 77% versus 71%. And they take better care of the ball. They rank 52nd in turning it over versus 320th for Rhode Island. So Rhode Island turns it over quite a bit. So again, looks like minus 1.5 stayed minus 1.5, but no, it's crept up. It's never gotten down to 1 or pick 'em. So it tells me liability on McNeese. And there is a 33% sharp mush edge from our friends at Juice Reel on the money line for McNeese State. So again, I'm going money line here. McNeese State you can get around minus 125 now at Caesars. Last bet of the night, another obscure sharp line move. Let's talk about Bucknell visiting Rider. Bucknell comes in 2-9 on the year. I'll tell you right now, both these teams are bad, but hopefully one is less bad or better, however you want to say that. But Bucknell 2-9. They've dropped 9 games in a row. They actually started 2-0. Now they've lost 9 straight. Just came up short against UMBC 73-66. Lost outright as a 2-point home favorite. Rider, though, pretty bad as well. They're 1-7. They've lost 5 straight. Just lost to Quinnipiac 72-58, but they actually covered as a 14.5-point road dog. So what have we seen here? Well, pretty clear movement in favor of Bucknell. Bucknell opened around minus 1, minus 1.5 on the road, and we are now seeing Bucknell get steamed up to minus 2.5, minus 3, and some shops now even going to minus 3.5. So continues to rise in favor of Bucknell in an added obscure game. DraftKings 71% bets, 91% spread dollars on Bucknell. Bucknell is favored to win by 1 point by KenPom, 70-69. He does have the Bison ranked higher, 317th versus 339th. But because of that, I went money line on Bucknell. You can get a minus 142 right now at DraftKings, but some books are closer to minus 150, minus 155. But I'm going to pay a little more, protect myself on the off chance Bucknell only wins by 1, 2, or 3. But on the splits for the money line, 70% bets, 88% dollars at DK. Tells me big money here on Bucknell. And some advantages. Offensive efficiency, 296th in the country for Bucknell, 348th for Rider, one of the worst in the country. Better effective field goal percentage, 279th versus 364th, and better three-point shooting. Kind of a big edge here, 33% versus 27%. So all three low bet obscure added sharp games. Liability line movement. KenPom's got an edge on most of these. Some good sharp mush edges as well. I got Bucknell minus 142 on the money line. Again, might be as high as minus 150, minus 155. So McNeese and Bucknell money line. Howard 2.5, 3 if you can get it. Now let's talk about some NBA, because I tell you what, guys, I'm kind of into some of these player props, especially PRA, points, rebounds, assists. Because I think if you can find a guy, my whole theory here is like if you can find a guy who is a playmaker and isn't just a one-trick pony. Again, can score, can rebound, can pass. I think there's an opportunity there where he may have a huge scoring night, but not so great rebound, but mediocre assists, or vice versa. Maybe he has a huge double-double with points or rebounds and assists, but is low on points. It just gives you more avenues, hopefully, to cash the ticket. So, only 2 games tonight. First one I want to talk about, Miami Heat and the Orlando Magic. Now, both teams come in 14-10. By the way, this is a 6 o'clock early game. But if you look at kind of the market, I was looking a little bit toward the Magic because they did move a little bit. I think at one point they were getting a point. Now they might be laying a point. Some books around to pick them. But I focused on one player, hopefully to cash this PRA over. And it is Mr. Anthony Black. Anthony Black is a 6'7" guard from Arkansas. And he was great in college. He's now been in the NBA for a few years at this point. He was a 6th overall pick. He's gotten better each year. So his rookie year, 4.6 points. Last year, 9.4 points. This year, 13.2 points. He also fills the stat sheet. So if you look overall, he's averaging on the year 13.2 points, 3.9 rebounds, 3.1 assists. And he's actually gotten better in every single month, especially in the month of December. He's only played 4 games, but he's averaging 14 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. So he's really filling up the stat sheet. And what I like about Anthony Black in particular is that his minutes have gone up every month. So his minutes in the month of October, 26.5, November, 27.8, December, 30.8. So he's, again, gotten more playing time as the year progresses. That tells you the coach trusts him. He's deserving of that time. I believe Franz Wagner is out, so that's a guy, again, who you remove him. Maybe Black needs to step up here. Anyway, long-winded way of me saying that he looks to be an opportunity for an edge on his over points, rebounds, assists. So in the market, he is at 22.5 over minus 125 at BetMGM. But here are the other books. Caesars over 23.5 minus 105. FanDuel over 23.5 minus 104. The Score, formerly ESPN Bet, over 23.5 minus 105. DK over 23.5 minus 111. Fanatics over 23.5 minus 105. So all of these books are at 23.5, but BetMGM is 22.5. Now, again, it is juiced up, minus 125, but I'm one of those guys who always remembers if I bet a player prop and lost by 1 yard or 1 rebound or 1 assist. So I paid up for the BetMGM over 22.5 at minus 125. And again, this is a player who has gotten a lot of time, has gotten better each month. There's a void with no Wagner. And oh, by the way, this happens to be the highest total of the night, around 235.5. So I played Anthony Black to his over. Again, a lot of books at 23.5, but you can find the over 22.5 minus 125 at BetMGM, which is what I did. So let's go Anthony Black. And oh, by the way, he has gone over this number in 4 of his last 5 games. Next one for you. I got another over 22.5 points, rebounds, assists, and it's in the second game. So you got the Knicks and the Raptors. Now going into this one, Knicks 16-7, Raptors 15-10. Have seen this line move a little bit toward the Knicks. They open as low as minus 3.5, minus 4. Now they're up to minus 5, minus 5.5. Total sits around 226, 225.5. But I landed on Mikal Bridges over 22.5 PRA. Now, this is a good rhythm edge because rhythm is predicting 25.9 points, rebounds, and assists. So that's about a 3.4 PRA edge. In 4 games this month, 18.3 points per game, 5.3 rebounds per game, 3.8 assists per game. He's gone over this number in 6 of his last 10. But if you look on the road, he's gone over this number 9-0. 9 straight on the road, he's gone over this number. So 9 straight road games, and they're on the road tonight at Toronto. He's had at least 23 PRA. It is a short spread, so hopefully competitive game, back and forth, get some scoring here. Lastly, you look at all the books and what they're offering. Well, every book is 22.5 PRA, but this is why you got to do your shopping around and why if you use Juice Reel, they do a good job of just giving you the best prices. If not, you just have to, what I do is double check by clicking each app, wherever you're located in your legal state, and just writing it down on a notepad. That's what I usually do. But Caesars, Bridges, over 22.5 minus 118. FanDuel over 22.5 minus 130. So the Score, again, ESPN Bet, 22.5 over minus 125. DK over 22.5 minus 119. Fanatics over 22.5 minus 120. But BetMGM over 22.5 at minus 105. So that is your best price there, which is what I played. So Mikal Bridges, he's gone over this number, 22.5, 9 straight times on the road. He's on the road tonight. And there's about a 3.4 PRA edge from the market, 22.5, to what Rhythm is predicting, 25.9. So both guys, same number. Anthony Black over 22.5 PRA at minus 125. Bridges over 22.5 PRA at minus 105, both at BetMGM. So that about does it for episode 411 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. This is the part of the pod where we wrap things up, and I always start first by saying thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for grinding in the arena every single day. Again, I mentioned those Spotify Wrapped numbers, which I'm very proud of, but just tells me we're growing this community. You grind every day, you keep your head down. It's not often you pick your head up and kind of smell the roses or look around and get some perspective, but end of year, I didn't realize we're up 60% with followers and listeners, so that is awesome. And it's all because of you guys, so thank you. If you do want to make my day, give the podcast a 5-star review on Spotify or iTunes. Click the follow button, and also recommend the pod to a friend or retweet it when I put it out. That would all be awesome of you guys. Next, if you enjoy this style of sports betting, data-driven, sharp contrarian betting, focusing on line movement, bet splits, system matches, what the market is telling us, not what our heart is telling us. Got to bet with the data, the numbers, and our head, not our heart. But if that style of betting has appealed to you, again, you identified, public Eagles, line dropping toward Chargers, and that's now become a go-to for you. Well, if you want to learn more about data-driven betting, or more importantly, it's the holiday season, and you're scrambling and you have no clue what to get your dad or your son or your nephew or whoever, you should do. It's not going to cost much, $24. Go buy the Everything Guide to Sports Betting or the NFL Sharp Betting Playbook, the 2 books that I've written. You can find them on Amazon.com. They make a great stocking stuffer, and you'll get them in time for the holidays. So if you want to get one or both, you'll make my day. Bring them to the sports book. I'll buy you a beer, and we'll sweat some games together. Next, have you downloaded Rhythm and Juice Reel yet? Rhythm, great for their AI-backed models and predictions for game bets and player props. Remember, Rhythm had the Chargers at basically a pick'em when we were getting points, so shout out to Rhythm for that Chargers angle last night. But with also with Juice Reel, you can get the All Systems Go best bet picks there exclusively for $4.99 a week if you want to tip your podcast host or support your podcast host. You also get the Robo Jackson best bet picks, the Sharp Mush indicators, the arbitrage plays, the shop for the best line futures, all located within Juice Reel. So download Rhythm and download Juice Reel. Give them a 5-star review in the App Store while you're at it. Next, you have a live odds page. If you don't have one, you need one. So many sports going on. You got to be able to track the market in real time. You got to first know what are the games being played today, what's the start times. I need live scoring when the game gets going. I need live in-game wagering odds. I got to have an open column. It tells me the opening number for every game, then all the current numbers to the right of it, so you can see which direction the line has moved. You can pull up the line history, see where buyback has occurred. You can also shop for the best number and identify steam as numbers get lit up in red when the lines are moving. And you can do all of that with Odds Logic. So go download or just sign up for Odds Logic, but make sure you use this link, oddslogic.com/Josh123. That'll get you a 7-day free trial and 50% off your first month of service. Lastly, have you downloaded Novig yet? Well, Novig is a great sports betting exchange, and it's not a sports book. So the difference there is that you're not betting against the house, who's going to jack up the juice on you. So instead of paying minus 115, minus 120, you're paying plus 102, minus 103. I mentioned it yesterday, but at the time of the pod, a lot of the books were like plus 2.5, minus 115 with the Chargers, or some books were down to 2. But at the time, Novig, I believe, was plus 2.5 at minus 102. So you're risking a unit, you're getting more back because you're paying less juice. So again, if you win 2, they're not going to boot you, which is great. So go download Novig and use the promo code JOSH123 for an extra $25. So that about does it for episode 411 of the ASG pod on a big Tuesday. As always, guys, coming off a 1-0 or an 0-1. Actually, I got a little bit ahead of myself there at the end of my spiel. But whether I see you at the Borgata in Atlantic City, Twin River in Rhode Island, the Brook in New Hampshire, Foxwoods or Mohegan Sun down in Connecticut, at the Encore in Boston, Plainridge Park Casino, MGM Springfield, the Nash, and my neck of the woods between Nashua on the border of New Hampshire and Massachusetts, or out in the desert where the true grinders get down, where Billy Walters sends his number runners, where the lowest juice possible is found at the South Point, or Sweat and Sharp contrarian plays, jumping in the stadium swim pool when you cash a big ticket at Circa, wherever it may be. You're going to walk up to me. You're just going to show me a lightning bolt. Cha-ching! I can't make a lightning bolt sound. I guess that's the sound of thunder, technically. But show me a nice Chargers ticket. Really a blueprint play for us. Public Eagles, low bets, higher dollars, contrarian, primetime dog, line move toward Chargers. Chargers get it done in overtime. So show me a Chargers ticket. First one's on me, next one's on you. We'll post it at the book and sweat some hoops tonight. So as always, guys, coming off a 1-0 or an 0-1, a winning night, a losing night, a couple winning days, a couple losing days, a hot streak, a cold streak, somewhere in the middle, we're always grinding. We're never getting too high when things are going well. We're never getting too low when things are not going our way. We just got to stick to the model, stick to the blueprint, be disciplined with our bankroll management, make bets with our head and not our heart, and, of course, find the system plays or the system matches, which are games that fit our model against the public, with the house, with the pros, flat bet, avoid parlays, and get that CLV. If we can do that, we're going to be successful sports bettors. So have a great Tuesday night, everybody. We'll be right back at it tomorrow for a big Wednesday edition. That'll be episode 412 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. Good luck, everybody, and enjoy the sweats.